Greetings everyone and welcome to another episode of I'm Talking. Today I thought we'd talk a bit about the Dreamcast online capabilities. Now, if you're under the impression that the Dreamcast had very primitive online capabilities and really can't measure up to what today's consoles do, you are sadly mistaken. The Dreamcast, when you think about it, could do a lot of the same things that today's consoles can do online. And that includes online multiplayer, online chat, even voice chat, downloadable content, online leaderboards, and all of that. There were over 30 different online multiplayer games for the Dreamcast, and that doesn't even count all the games that have online capabilities that aren't multiplayer. Overall, there are over 50 games that have some type of online capability on the Dreamcast. Sega really wanted to go all out on the Dreamcast's online capabilities. They didn't just slap on a modem to the thing and never support it. They really pushed the online capabilities of the system. They took advantage of it in pretty much every way imaginable. You'd really be surprised at what the Dreamcast can do with only a dial-up modem. Many of the Dreamcast online multiplayer games really run very well over dial-up. I can personally attest to the fact that Phantasy Star Online runs almost just as good on dial-up as it does over broadband. Sometimes there's maybe a 1 or 2 second delay on sending messages in the game, but that's about it. Otherwise, the game plays very well over dial-up. And the same can be said about many of the other online multiplayer games for the Dreamcast, including Star Lancer, 4x4 Evolution, and Maximum Pool, all of which run perfectly over dial-up. If you didn't know any better, you'd probably think you were playing over a high-speed connection. So the Dreamcast modem was really very capable, and it's really not limited as much as you might think by the slow speed of dial-up. Some games really stretched what you could actually do over a dial-up connection. Alien Front Online is a very good example of this, as it had online voice chat, and this is while playing a multiplayer game. Yeah, sure, the audio clips were only a few seconds long, and two people couldn't talk at once, and you could just barely figure out what the other person was saying, but it just goes to show you what you can do with just a 56K dial-up connection. So besides online multiplayer, the Dreamcast had a bunch of other things it could do online too, including DLC or downloadable content. A lot of people actually didn't know the Dreamcast was capable of this. Obviously, DLC today is very common on today's consoles and almost overused. But back when the Dreamcast was out, this wasn't very common, so it was a very innovative feature on the Dreamcast. Now, not all games were capable of downloading extra content, but the ones that were Floygan Brothers, Dynamite Cop, Crazy Taxi 2, Sonic Adventure, and there were some others as well. But, they weren't anything big. Say, for example, in the Floygan Brothers, you could download a hat that Moigel Floygan could wear in the game. Choo Choo Rocket, you were able to download different characters that you could play as instead of the normal mice and the cats. And in Dynamite Cop, you could download something called the Detonator Pack, which would unlock a couple extra characters, a new weapon in the game, and some additional artwork that you can collect. All of this just shows how capable the Dreamcast really was when it was online, even with the limitation of dial-up. Now, of course, the Dreamcast broadband adapter was released late in the Dreamcast life, and that would have expanded the capabilities of the Dreamcast even more. So instead of sending few-second, highly compressed voice clips over the internet like in Alien Front Online, you would actually be able to do real-time voice chat. And just imagine what you could do if you combined the Dreamcast broadband adapter with the unreleased Dreamcast zip drive. Now, the zip drive was an unreleased peripheral for the Dreamcast that would have added more storage capabilities to the Dreamcast other than just the VMU, which had very limited space on it. If you had the zip drive, you could download full-on new levels, new missions, and stuff like that to your Dreamcast instead of just, say, little hats that characters could wear within the game. The possibilities with that combination are pretty much endless. I think Sega really had a lot planned for the Dreamcast online capabilities for the future, and I think they could have done so much more. I wouldn't be surprised if Sega eventually came out with something very similar to the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Live Marketplace. Not really for downloading full games, but, small games very similar to Xbox Live Arcade games or PSN exclusive games, or something along that line. So to sum everything up, the Dreamcast really was a very, very capable system when it came to online features, online multiplayer, DLC, leaderboards. It had a lot of the same features that today's consoles have, and I think Sega would have really kept expanding its capabilities as time went on. So what do you think the online future of the Dreamcast would have been like? Post your comments below and maybe even make a video response and let me know what you think. And if you've enjoyed this video, please comment, rate, subscribe, and thanks for watching.